And now, everything wrong with Sonic Frontiers in 40 minutes. I was holding off on this one because I hadn't finished Frontiers yet, but now I have, so I can check it out.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
I didn't think of that, honestly, when I saw it, but then again, I also didn't give a shit.
Uploading AI program now.
So
By AI program, I mean myself.
Dialogue, but for some reason the dialogue isn't subtitled the way the rest of the game is. No, see, it's different, because this time it's cyberspace.
Yeah, it's totally original. Such a complex puzzle. Oh, it isn't like the first stage.
I'm movie Sonic now?
Oh, that's not the only movie Sonic reference. There's another one. Hey, it's cool looking.
As many times as it takes.
Till you get it
We'll
right.
just listen to this random ominous voice whose origin is unknown to us. It's not like they didn't literally just tell us not even 10 minutes ago that escaping from
Who the fuck
cyberspace
is this
supposed to be
voice?
impossible.
They appear to
think it's
be
ever
in a
established.
digital dimension. We've employed similar constructs in my own systems, but this is markedly more advanced. Note to self, don't admit that to anyone.
You gotta admire Dr. Eggman's ingenuity. The buttons on his vest serve multiple functions, such as recording audio logs, turning him into Buzz Lightyear, and just being nipples. You know,
The buttons
not
are
only is it
multi-purpose.
strange that these are the only bits of dialogue with no voice acting, it's especially strange that it's not denoted who's talking. For the most part, the Elder and Hermit Coco will be the ones talking to Sonic, but every so often, Sonic will say something himself, and it's not really obvious when that switch happens until you read something that wouldn't make sense for one of the Coco to say.
I don't mind if they're not talking. Oop. Yeah, I thought that too.
I mean, what's it like being all ghosty?
Identify as ghost self.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so
Amy, English.
You want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Yeah, hang in there, Amy.
Man, I love all of Sonic's
How'd
new
you
abilities
say?
in this game, like the one where he just fucking defies gravity for as long
Yeah,
as he wants.
it kind of became
Excuse
broken.
me? Someone? You left your sassy child up on this
Yeah,
tower.
she can
Instead of being an
fly.
intimidating villain, she's
Just vibing.
vibing. So I know the explanation is probably the Ancients' technology or whatever, but how are we climbing this? Knuckles uses the spikes on his gloves, but Sonic just Spider-Mans up the tower.
Stole the spikes.
His poor mother says she's lost her children. Can you lead the
Oh
man?
fuck this
Perfect.
mission.
Man, this game cared so much about properly acknowledging.
Got stuck in-
and
I had to
representing
redo this
Sonic's
mission
past
like
that they
10
even referenced How
times.
the characters used to interrupt each other in Adventure
Duh.
2. Why do the Coco drop bombs when I'm trying to guide them?
Yeah,
to their mother?
seriously.
I'm just trying to help them get home. Why hurt me?
Big the cat! He's big the cat!
Actually,
We
mine
Sonic
big.
Frontiers to bring you Yakuza.
Froggy really likes those purple coins. If you bring me one, I'll let you borrow my rod again.
Speaking of Froggy, I don't think we ever see him in this game.
That's because it's actually
Big doesn't really
Kermit. He
say
was
he's
already
looking for
kidnapped and
Froggy,
murdered by
but
Cell.
Considering that Big is looking for new
Only like
fishing
2 people
spots
are gonna
and the
get
fact
that
we
reference.
never even see Froggy around, is it safe to assume you lost the fucking frog again?
Sonic Adventure 3, I'll find it again.
Oh, sick. I think that means we get to go to Willy Walrus's chocolate
Willy
factory.
Walrus is talking
A fish that is gold in name but red in color. They are bred for their ornamental value and aren't found in nature.
But we found it in nature.
But I literally caught it in a pond. Is that not considered nature? Or is it because it was in cyberspace and so that's technically not in nature? What are the rules? then?
Seriously.
Okay, look, I didn't want to.
I
this
don't
because
like
basically
these.
Everyone else has already done it at this point, but we gotta address it. Starfall is just a blood moon from Breath of
It
the
is,
Wild
but
to
with
make
more
it
mini
gambling.
games.
Cocoa are just Korok seeds, but make them
Yeah.
chow. And the purple coins are like the ones from Super Mario Odyssey, but make
At least they're ripping off good games.
Tour in time to view alternate futures, to see all the possible outcomes of coming conflict.
How many did you see?
14,605,000.
How many did we win?
1.
One.
Nice
So I know
Infinity
I
War
made the Attack on
reference.
Titan joke earlier, but Giganto specifically looks so much like an Evangelion unit.
He is cool.
I'm feeling more like my old self. It's
Less
working.
is more.
Keep going and don't keep me waiting.
I'll be back before you can do a fortune card reading.
Yeah, because that's always been a thing.
Yeah, I
Right?
know. That was my
Seriously,
reaction.
did you know that her tarot card reading and fortune telling thing has only ever been mentioned in 3, technically 4 games before this one? The Japanese manual for Sonic CD, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U, and finally again in Sonic Origins.
Huh. Yeah, that was my reaction when he brought the tarot card thing. Like, is that then like a thing in a book or something? Knock the Supersonic out of him.
Sonic Frontiers. You know, it's weird. I could have sworn we were promised 5 islands. No.
He's not dead.
Can I go now?
Ugh.
It sure
Yeah,
is.
the names are not very
These are
advanced.
Some of the most unique robot designs we've gotten in a Sonic game, and yeah, they do look like animals, but why are they relegated to such simple names like Squid, and Shark, and Caterpillar? Even Sonic 3 gave us Monkey Dude.
You are the key. Be empowered with this technique.
Here's a free skill.
Not gonna lie, weird mysterious voice, I kind of forgot you were here. I haven't heard you in like 2 hours.
Movie Sonic, just the other reference.
Also, discount Zero Fight from Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, it is kind of.
What would one call something that copies something else but does it better? You know, looking at Ares Island, the only thing I can think of is Nier Automata.
I never played it.
Sonic Frontiers. Yep, that's it. That's the joke. Portal 2-4 presents something that's really strange. Remember in the 3DS version of Sonic Generations how one of the levels you go to is Radical Highway,
Yeah.
a shadow stage from Sonic Adventure 2? Yeah, they do that again for this game, and I still really don't understand why. Sonic visits
It's
Radical
cyberspace.
Highway. Unless, of course, you count the opening cutscene of Adventure 2 Battle, or City Escape and the Bigfoot boss fight being Radical Highway adjacent. It wasn't until I started fishing again that I realized how massive some of these normal-ass fish are compared to the absolute freak of nature that is Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, they're so big, they make Sonic look like he's posing for a photo to put on his daily
I know, right?
So, in Big's fishing spots, you can reel in some items from the classic games, such as springs,
Gold
star
plates,
posts,
yeah.
gold plates, and while I'm willing to accept that they might just be cute little references, what are the lore implications here? Being able to catch choppers makes sense because they're fish. Badnik fish, sure, but still fish. And with the idea being that cyberspace takes from characters as memories, these items being here makes sense.
Yeah.
But why are they in the water? What makes this weirder is that no
Big
matter
threw
what
them in
fishing
there. They're
spot
garbage.
we always seem to be in a place that resembles Kronos Island, but why? This is still within cyberspace, so you would think it'd resemble.
I like how
some
there's
of
no
these characters'
backstory about
memories
Big
like the
being in
other
cyberspace.
posters.
We got one for
But
Knuckles,
at
but not
least a
Big.
new location, not resembling any of the islands the way the city levels.
I know you bought all the egg
It's
memos
so bizarre
too.
that Big's fishing spots are the places that bring these questions to light. Similarly, the only way to retrieve the egg memos is from Big, and it's assumed that Eggman has been here for a while. But for starters, how is it that Eggman lost his audio logs in the first place?
And how did Big
Secondly,
get them?
Unless he somehow recorded everything he knows up until this point, which includes knowing who's also gotten trapped in cyberspace, did he lose all the egg memos at once? Or did he keep losing them one by one? It's assumed Big can navigate cyberspace freely the same way Eggman can, and unless the Doctor was throwing his audio logs...
No,
into
Big just does
Lambert's
fast as
pond,
Sonic.
I
He
doubt
can leave
Big
whenever he
found
wants.
these
He
by
just doesn't
fishing.
want to.
I found elements from my own eggnet.
Eggnet?
Not really. It was brought up in.
Wait, that's from the comics? Okay, that's interesting.
I thought it was in
I'm just
Forces.
saying, I think it's kind of weird that the communications network for the Eggman Empire never had a name in the games, and it's a bit odd that it's never been relevant until now. If I'm being honest, I didn't even really know the Empire had a communications network. It makes sense. It just never really came up, I guess. You'd think we'd have heard it mentioned beforehand, is all I'm saying.
Apparently, it wasn't
Were
important.
the ancients.
The Black Arms,
They
the
predate any
Babylons.
civilization by a wide
God, this is a
margin.
war dump.
The
I didn't read
Achilles,
the memos, to be honest.
Black Arms, please. The Babylonians? Hardly. And yet they didn't seem to influence the world beyond these 3 piddly islands.
3 Piddly Islands? But
Stop them
there are
from
5.
Do you
are
really
there
count the
not?
4th?
Are Rhea and Uranus just a part of Kronos? If so, why give them distinct names, and why even name them as
And maybe
ours?
this was earlier in
I
development.
don't believe this. I had Sage run a diagnostic on the recorded genetic data.
Oh
of the
shit, this is where the
and
Chaos
then
Stone
against
comes from.
archives I have with me. They're relatives of Chaos, the god of
I like how he's
destruction.
still a god destructing you after all these
countless
years.
their DNA corroded to the point they were completely transformed into a new species. Some kind of radiation affected them for eons, making them unrecognizable. Except to a genius like me.
But didn't you just say in the previous memo that the ancients were wiped out within a generation? Did this genetic corrosion happen before they came to this
I guess
planet?
so.
Was it after they were attacked and fled with the Chaos Emeralds? Because if so, enough of them must have survived in order to procreate and continue their evolution into this
And
new
make
species,
chaos.
right? Are you saying this radiation turned them into the Ancients that resemble Chaos Zero, or that the radiation turned the Ancients into what we know today as the Chao? The latter would make more sense.
There
given that
are
light and
some
dark seem to
plot
be a
holes
constant
in this
force on
story.
planet, given light and dark Gaia, what we later learn about the end, the ability for Chao to evolve into hero or dark versions of themselves, and finally their ability to, as adults, closely resemble the Ancients themselves. But again, that contradicts the idea that the Ancients were wiped out within a generation. Enough of them had to survive in order to become what we know today.
Sage is performing at peak efficiency. Makes me wonder where I went wrong with Orbot and Cubot.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever brought that up, but where did you go wrong with Orbot? and
Where
Cubot?
did Orbot and Cubot
Was it
go?
their
They aren't
autonomy?
in this game.
Did their free will allow them to make
You
a
send them to
complete
null
ass out of you?
space?
Sage keeps running the numbers by me, and it's getting tedious. Yes, the power that wiped out the Ancients was formidable. Yes, unleashing it on this world would be catastrophic. But I'm a genius.
That is such an Eggman thing to do.
Handle it? Better yet, weaponize it against
Such an
Sonic.
Eggman thing to
Eggman,
do.
that's worked a total of once, and even then you still lost.
Yeah, right? Yeah. There are other plot holes in this
Green Hill's
game,
looking
like
a lot more like Pumpkin
Sky
Hill
Hill.
right now. Skyrim
Do,
from
do,
Adventure
do,
2?
do, do,
Sonic was
do,
nowhere
do,
near
do.
this level in that game. Have Sonic Team played Sonic Adventure 2? Did they forget that they made Shadow playable in that
To be
game?
fair, that was like 20 years
Because the
ago.
only time Sonic has been to Skyrim was in an E3 trailer from the year 2000 before Shadow, Rouge, and Tails were playable. And unfortunately, you know what reusing level design is inevitably going to do? It's going to make the player draw parallels between the recreation and the original, and while you can scrutinize whether or not the reuse of level design mixed with, at this point, overutilized environment designs is considered lazy, my biggest issue is that the cyberspace stages set you on such a linear path that the adventure games didn't quite do. While I can't even joke about the camera being good in those games, I could at the very least rotate it to see my surroundings further, which I would love to do in Portal 2.6, since I could do so in Adventure 2, and because the level design sometimes calls for it. I would say that maybe 75% of the time I wasn't fighting the camera in cyberspace, but Portal 2.6
cyberspace
is a
can be a
great
pain in the butt.
representation of that 25% when I was. Especially since you can't.
I never
move
thought
the
in a
camera
Sonic game the worst
cyberspace,
part of
but
these,
only
the worst part would be the
sometimes.
Sonic
And it
stages,
doesn't
you
always
know?
make sense when you can or can't. I don't know how I missed this when I played initially, but the lighting engine was casting a shadow that was bugging the hell out during this cutscene, and I have zero idea what it was coming from.
I wonder what that symbol means in their language.
Now, come to think of it, you don't actually see it printed anywhere in the villages. I guess the true meaning is lost to time.
When you guys say the symbol, are you referring to the question marks and the check marks on the signs?
Yeah, it's kind of basic.
That hasn't been lost to time. We know what those mean.
Yeah.
Look, just take a second to tell me who you are, what's going on, and why you look like you want to smite me on the
So much of
spot.
this game would be shortened down if Sage just spoke every once in a while.
Nothing.
Then why don't you just tell me?
Okay, who put springs in the middle of a damn forest?
Do envy your lifestyle. Freedom to go where you want, when you want.
So do it. Get out there and live a little.
What the f do you mean, live a little? He joins you guys on adventures all the time.
Seriously.
So, okay, I'm going
If
to
we hadn't
address
seen him
the
since
pop in
3, that would have made
I
sense.
want to preface this by saying that throughout the whole game, I didn't think it was that big a deal because...
Oh no,
because
there's
of
some
Sonic.
pop-in, so the game's
Something not
terrible.
looking nice has no
0 out of
impact on
10.
the game itself. A game can look god-awful, but that has no bearing on whether or not it's fun to play. Where it is a problem is when it prevents me from doing or knowing I can do certain things. While on Ares Island, I was collecting Knuckles' memory tokens to advance his side story, and I was in an area where I couldn't figure out how to get one that I could see from a fair distance. What I didn't realize was that I wasn't close enough to the platforms that would lead me there, so they hadn't appeared to me yet. And I have to ask why this game didn't implement some kind of dynamic LOD.
I will admit the pop-in
LOD
is a
stands for
problem with
level
this
of detail,
game,
and
but
it's an optimization
it doesn't
technique
destroy
implemented in
everything for
games
me.
to reduce the number of polygons rendered on screen depending on how close the camera is to any given asset, so that the game can run
Nice.
smoothly.
Yeah, that's
and
happened to me
they've
too
been a
many
thing
times.
since the dawn of 3D platformers. Without them, all the assets in a given level would be loaded at once, and let's just say that's no good for a game's performance.
Now,
And what bothers me the most is that they wouldn't have had to do anything too fancy to implement it. There are certain platforms in this game that load in after pressing a button that seem to form from a light. That's a perfect way of doing it. Did they think it would be too distracting because of how fast you can run?
maybe.
Probably no more distracting than just having them appear out of nowhere. In that case, they could have just had the assets fade into existence depending on how close you are to them. And again, this isn't that big a deal to me. It's nothing game-breaking, but it's a simple bit of polish that I genuinely don't think would have been too difficult to implement.
Well, there's gonna be a patch at some point,
Spooky
so
Skyboy
maybe we'll
says I
get.
just have to trash the
I don't know.
Titans to get you guys back to normal. So we have a plan.
Oh yeah? Why isn't it talking to the rest of us then?
It's a dick.
Look at the size of this. What do you call it? Satellite dish? It's for communications, right?
Yeah, I've seen all sorts of crazy high-tech ancient tech across both islands.
How can something this old be this advanced? It's sturdy too. I punched it. It didn't move at all.
Even my attacks were useless. I can't believe that
Hold on,
bastard.
what are the rules, actually? Because the only thing we've ever seen them be able to interact with was Knuckles being able to block Sage's energy beam. Sonic and Knuckles did kind of fist bump earlier, but isn't it shown that the characters aren't physically here? That they're transparent? Why would Knuckles be able to punch a wall, but not be able to help us defeat the 4 towers that appeared earlier near one of the temples? We interrupt Sonic Frontiers to bring you
It can
the
do
training
whatever the
from
plot
Mario
needs it to
Party.
do.
So long, Game Bowser. Not bad.
Uh,
Things would have been over faster if I'd been Super Knuckles.
we don't have
Yes,
the
and I
Super
would have loved
Emeralds.
to see that after almost 30 years. Bring him back, you cowards! Damn, this is a rough day for Sonic, constantly getting shot by lasers
I
in
know,
the air,
right?
losing the Chaos Emeralds every time. This is just 3D Tetris.
It is.
So I was just chilling on this puzzle ring, and this happened. How's that for a Sonic speed strat? It
Nice.
was during my fishing stint on Chaos Island that it hit me. What do we do with all the fish we catch?
We eat
Are
them.
we doing it for sport and then just toss them back into the pond? Are we giving them to Big to eat later? Does he keep them as pets? Does he keep them at all? That's not a black bass. That's yellow at best. I caught an alligator, but how come the alligator looks normal? How come he doesn't look more
Would've
like
been amazing
Vector?
if they
I guess
fished
that
up
he's crocodile,
Vector.
but is that the difference? Croc means anther and gator means normal? The seed of an oak
Really?
tree. Some are round while others are long and thin. A somewhat lackluster catch in a nutshell. Boo! Get off the stage!
Seriously.
Why is the game reminding me at this point, almost 12 hours later, of something I
Yeah, I already know
to
how
do?
these memory token
I
system
understand
works.
Tails is trapped. I've already done this with Amy and Knuckles. This ain't my first rodeo. I've been playing this game for...
Rodeo. What the fuck was that?
I'm inside the wall. I am inside the geometry I am not meant to be. So there's a part on Chaos Island where you have to fly an eagle to the next area because there's nothing that will get you there safely otherwise. The only way to do that is to successfully use its pole to hop on its back. But you can only do that after you've homing attacked it. But you can't homing attack it until you've successfully parried one of its lasers. And even then, you need to guide the eagle to the part of the island where you can do that without crashing it into the ground before you get there, and it's such an involved set of circumstances that are finicky enough to set up that I don't know how they thought anybody would think to do it.
I don't even
That
remember
is
if
a
that's how
Xenoblade
I did
Chronicles
it.
boss. That is a faced Mechon.
Yes,
That
it is.
Straight up
It
metal
is.
face.
Straight up.
So I think I've figured it out. The Coco are the spirits of
Hey,
the
that's right. It looks
ancients.
cool.
Are you fucking serious? How did you not get that from Amy's story? Did they assume that maybe I hadn't done that? How? It's a main story quest.
What the?
At this point, I wouldn't mind Shadow lending me a hand.
So that was an incredibly rare line of dialogue
Huh.
that Sonic can have at random points in the game. Sometimes he'll talk about his surroundings or certain characters.
I didn't hear.
certain
I haven't
past,
heard all
and
the lines.
I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what triggers any of them.
Me neither.
Some of them seem to only happen in specific locations, but even then, it's not guaranteed you'll hear the line. In fact, were it not for this unique instance that I managed to capture alongside the Mystic Ruins line in Kronos Island, that I just figured always played, I would be convinced that these lines
Yeah, I
aren't
got the
actually
Mystic
used in
Ruins
the
line,
game
too.
At all. That's how rare they are. You could be standing around from 5 minutes to an hour before Sonic comments on anything.
And Tangle would love climbing around these ruins.
Tangle? I didn't get that line.
Like, is in the lemur?
Yeah, they referenced the
His only appearances
comics.
in video game form or in Sonic Dash as a limited time event and Sonic Forces Speed Battle?
Yeah.
2 mobile games wherein she shares the exact same render, only one of them has a bold outline? Yeah, when did that happen?
Oh, please, that isn't even the
You can't
worst
just
of
bring
it.
her up as if she's always been here.
See, I don't mind Tangle being in part of the universe, but it's like,
Green. Reminds me of Green Forest.
You had the time to appreciate the smells and learn the name of an area on an island where you were locked up and promptly had to escape from because
yeah, it was about to blow up.
I had assumed this whole time that the rails and dash rings and boost pads and all that were a product of the ruins left behind by the ancients, or just video game logic. I didn't think too in-depth about it. Until I saw this egg spring, because that now implies that all of this was
built by Eggman.
But if that's the case, why are they left in the state that they are?
These things are tough to take down, even for me.
Heck
No,
yeah.
they weren't. You and the Avatar took
Yeah, I
more than
need
that
the
with a double
Avatar.
warning attack.
Let's see what Eggman was trying to do with this thing.
Take over the world.
What else would he be doing
What
with
he
it?
was doing with these last time? Suddenly Karuga, and oh my god, I cannot believe I am saying that in a Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure you've run into this scenario already. What did you do?
Well, I helped him out.
But isn't that cruel? Their battle is long over. This feels dishonest.
We're not fixing the problem they think they have, but we are bringing them peace.
Well, when you put it that way, let's get to work.
What did you think we were doing?
Yeah, seriously.
I'm surprised you didn't come to that conclusion yourself, Tails. Like, yeah, of course it's a little too late to
IQ
help
of
them.
300
You
my
saw them
ass.
die. How do you know that the Coco hold the souls of the ancients, know how we helped Chaos, and still not piece together that we're trying to help them move on?
Sonic, do you think I can change?
Nope,
Tails,
writers
you're
won't let
eight.
it.
Considering people still see you as a kid, it's safe to say you're not in the middle of your life the way you would be if you were a real fox, so I'd say you still have the rest of your life ahead of you in order to change into who you want to be.
Whatever. Some spooky cyber copy hasn't seen you in action. I've seen it firsthand. You've definitely grown, and I know you'll keep on working hard.
Sonic, help!
They addressed that, actually.
This minigame, you are given just
Yeah, this
enough time to
minigame
break
can
open
blow
boxes
me.
to collect 600 mechanical bits that
I don't
stack
mind it as a
onto
random
floors,
side
fall
quest,
into
but
lava
main
if you don't do it fast
storyline?
enough.
No.
But if you try and go too fast, you overshoot the boxes and fall into the lava yourself, which you can only fall into 3 times, and the nuts and bolts don't magnetize to you. Or, well, sometimes they don't. Some boxes you can homing attack and get the bits, others you have to combo because they're bigger. And you can't waste time trying to grab every bit, because otherwise you won't have enough time to grab more.
Yay!
Sage shows up for her.
Power. You've known Sonic most of your life.
Yeah, and?
Most of my life, I'm still
Imprisonment
8.
In cyberspace. The defeat of the Ancients' Titans. Do you trust how he is handling it? With your life?
Of course. I'll admit he isn't perfect, but Sonic has overcome impossible odds over and over again. I know he'll save us all.
So you're saying
Teleporting like Gan in the Zelda cartoon.
It's not a matter of faith. I've got a lifetime of data to back up my observations.
your loyalty is founded on empirical data?
Well, he says it is.
Yeah.
But you're not being presented with any of it. How are you trusting him when he's only presented the equivalent of faith?
That's all she
he did was
needs.
point at his brain and cite his sources. Trust me, bro.
Look, either stop being cryptic and tell me what's going on, or skedaddle.
And then she skedaddles.
There would be no point.
How many times have we done this shit over the course of the
Seriously.
story? Sonic asks Sage a perfectly valid question that Sage ascertains is pointless in answering.
People say this is the best
To
Sonic
elaborate
story,
or
and
answer
I'm
the
just
question,
like,
and then leaves.
you mean the part where Sage kept avoiding the question 800 times?
I have found the most
I like the story and all that stuff, sure, just like, I don't know.
Create an alliance with Sonic.
Again, the best story and having brought to the story aren't the same thing.
But together you stopped the Ark, overcame Neo Metal.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, they did sort of team up in
With
Sonic
Neo Metal,
Heroes, but
yeah.
Eggman was locked up for most of that. His only contribution was saying that the only way to defeat him would be to use the Chaos Emeralds, which you don't need an IQ of 300 to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, the Chaos
Everyone
Emeralds
else
being the
overcame
I win
Neo
button
Metal
are like,
together.
duh.
Eggman kind of just was there.
Yeah.
Those alliances were purely out of desperation.
But time is running out.
We're
Don't want
desperate.
to hear it. Find me another option.
There is none, you clown. I ran the simulations, you asshat. 1,700,051 of them. I was programmed by you to do this, and I am telling you that the only one in which you get out of here is the one where you team up with Sonic, Dad.
Whenever there's a crisis, I'm either running away or standing on the sidelines. You're always rescuing me when all I do is follow you around.
Hey, who was it who stopped Eggman from blowing up Station Square, huh? And who broke me out of prison or saved me from the Deadly Six's trap?
Then I'm wildly inconsistent.
I like that
Well,
line.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's not entirely your fault. Some people just don't like doing their homework to find out what you're all about.
Yeah.
So, in this part of the game, I have to do a free-falling minigame in order to drop the bridge from the other side, but why?
Yeah, I
There's
ran
no
into this
way the
exact
bridge
same
isn't close
thing.
enough for Sonic to just run
I
up it
tried to
and
jump
land on
over
the
the
other
dang thing. I
side.
was about to
In
land on
fact,
the
I
other
tried
side.
doing that,
Yeah,
and
we
we
all
totally
tried
make
this,
it
and
if
it
not
didn't
for
work
the
because of the invisible
invisible wall they put
wall.
And speaking of this minigame, throughout the story, there are
At that
mandatory
point, just make it a
minigames you have
fucking
to
90-degree
complete, and
angle
these
so I
Chaos
can't do
Emeralds,
it.
which aren't in Emerald Vaults for whatever reason. But I singled this one out in particular because in previous ones, you could argue that a Coco or an enemy or something had the Chaos Emerald that was only revealed after we completed the task. But here, all we did was lower the bridge.
The bridge had a
Where did
Chaos
this
Emerald.
come from? Why?
Hey, little bro. Feeling better?
Yeah. This whole experience gave me a kind of clarity. When this is all over, I think I need to go it alone for a while.
I don't believe you. You're going to be in the next
Go into
game.
my full potential if I always fall back.
I don't believe this for a second. I'll
Don't you do that all the time
I'll
anyway?
reserve judgment.
How often do you guys spend time together? Because you guys have said long time no see pretty frequently throughout this series, but
True.
what do you define as long time?
3 minutes.
I thought you all went your separate ways after every adventure.
Such a beautiful friendship. A family born of love and not genetics. Everything I want.
Sage? More like Sag.
Yeah.
Also, what do you mean genetics? What
Yeah,
genetic
weird.
code do you have? Aren't you an artificial intelligence? Did Eggman put his genetic code in you?
Ew.
Wait, does that mean you're also Eggman Sega with an N instead of an S's ancestor? What kind of family tree is this?
Eggman Sega.
Wow. Look at all these precious memories from like a couple hours ago, and that's it.
Seriously, this isn't an anime. You can't go back through years of footage.
Yeah, that's the sound I would make if I fell in love with too.
I mean, yeah.
5 million points. You have to score 5 million
I actually like
points
this, but
in
then
a
again,
game
that's
of
because I liked
pinball with
pinball. I
pinball
lost the
like
first
physics
time,
in
after
order
the
to
second
advance
time
the
I got it.
story, which technically isn't the worst thing in the world to do, but sometimes the red rings, which serve as score multipliers, spawn in positions that I can only hit if I get lucky, making getting enough points a slog. And as if to add insult to injury, getting all those points isn't enough. After doing that, I still have to make sure the ball goes
I actually did that
above
accidentally.
the board in order for it to matter. The only way they could have made this worse is if they went the Sonic Pinball Party route and gave me a time limit.
Whatever you did triggered an eruption, and the lava burned.
Wait, how did we make it out? Did Sonic bolt the second he won at pinball? Because the lava covering the exit came
Probably.
down pretty quickly. Whoa,
Sonic's
what?
faster.
Why'd I lose the emeralds this time? I get it.
It-
Sonic is probably
you know
tired
what
after the fight with
happened,
the
let's
knight,
just
but
cut
normally
past
we
it.
still keep the Chaos Emeralds unless they're blasted out of us. And you could argue that it's the islands calling their power like they have before.
I
or
just
something,
assumed
but if
that
that's
we
the
were shot
case,
down
why
off
were we allowed
screen.
to keep
Because,
them
you know,
before?
it's happened like 3
Why wouldn't
times. You
every
get the
island just
idea.
call them back after we get them. So I missed a conversation with Sage, so before doing Rhea Island, I went back to get it, and I guess they really expected you to see this conversation before you completed Chaos Island, because despite the fact that I've already defeated the Knight, it showed up in the arena again during this cutscene. During this reveal, you can see Sonic's planet in the background, and what look to be lights coming from the dark side of it. As far as I understand it, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, lights like that would only be visible from space if there was a high concentration of them, meaning that they're likely artificial, right? And it seems to be a large chunk of the planet that's like that, meaning that it's not coming from the ancients on the Starfall Islands. How long ago did this happen? How advanced was civilization when the ancients were still around?
Sonic worked too hard for us to give up now. Those visions we saw, we can drive back the corruption and bring him back.
Yeah, they don't explain how the fuck this
Anything for
works.
Sonic.
They just bring him back
Whatever
with
it
the real
takes.
superpower of teamwork. It would have been amazing though if he went Super Sonic here, just to be like a Super Saiyan
Sonic,
God reference.
I want you to see the hero I become.
Sonic, you still have love to share with this world too.
Sonic, we're even after this. Ha!
Ha! Like we'll ever be even.
My friends are literally my power cliche.
Eh,
This
it
is
works.
our chance. I never simulated
Sonic's essentially a
this
shonen
before
protagonist if you
so
think about it a certain way.
Since you never authorized it.
I still don't want to.
Please.
There's no time to be tsundere, Eggman! I do like this, though.
Sonic, I hereby induct you into the Eggman Empire in order you to save us. Understand? This is not an alliance.
I like that.
Isn't this almost word for word what Bowser does in Super Mario RPG when he joins the party?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't play it.
I have over 2,000 Coco right now because
yeah,
basic
this is a
spots
pain in
make
the
it
ass.
incredibly easy to gather collectibles, but I can only level up Sonic stats with the Elder Coco one by one.
Please, in the sequel or in the DLC,
waiting
fix
for
this.
the Elder Coco to level me up, receive his dialogue, select what I wanted to level up, and hit the confirm button to level up my ring capacity by 30 levels, meaning that it would take you roughly about 15 minutes to go through every single level. On one stat. To fully level up Sonic with the Elder Coco, you need to double that. Why can't I just choose how many levels to increase my stats by if I have the Coco to do so?
It's too late for an I'm sorry from either of us.
The subtitles here incorrectly read, it's too late for a I'm sorry from either of us.
Yo, so did cyberspace actually interact with my brain?
It was designed to catalog neural networks, among other things.
Other things?
Yes.
Alright, hear me out. Do you think all those locations I visited were pulled from my memories?
That is plausible. It imported the
Yeah,
data
so
of your
she's just
memories and
realized.
applied it to your surroundings, so you could comprehend them.
Maybe that gave me the edge I needed to escape
Yeah,
each
the,
time. I was covering familiar
Pre-roll
ground.
bonus.
Go
something.
me.
Okay, but why did they only look like Green Hill chemical plants?
He didn't remember it that
Sanctuary,
well.
and the disproving your hypothesis city? You remember layouts from other places, but not what they look like? Also, one of the Egg memos mentions the terrain shifting to look like those places too, so does Eggman also only think of those stages? This is one I didn't find out about until going back to get additional footage. During my initial playthrough of this game, I noticed that the classic drowning jingle doesn't play as you're running out of oxygen in the water.
Really?
However, it does play when running out of oxygen when trapped inside the balloon enemy. And it's the Sonic Colors version of the theme, not even a unique one.
Hey, it's a
I
good
was
piece of
taking
music.
The story of the Ancients and came to a certain realization. Considering that this game goes out of its way to canonize almost every game in the Sonic franchise, isn't it kind of weird that the Ancients and the Babylonians were able to crash land on this planet, basically no problem, but the Black Arms, whose only reason for wanting the Chaos Emeralds was to break through the planet's atmosphere, couldn't?
I guess they aren't skilled enough.
Is that a trash from Sonic Fishing on Sonic Cafe?
What? That's a thing?
You stray.
Yeah,
from the
invisible
path.
wall.
Turn back. Complete your mission.
Stray from the path? I've never had a path. I've always been allowed to do whatever the hell I wanted. Oh, except for the 2D sections on Chaos Island. Those kind of defeat the purpose of an open zone.
Seriously.
God damn it, I missed a red ring.
Yeah.
Hold on, can I go back?
Hey, no.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
so I can turn around, but an invisible wall stops me from going back? Even Sonic 06 let me go
Just jump
back.
off the cliff.
Explore. Harvest all you need from the island to succeed.
What are you?
Seek the one you call Elder Coco.
I know!
To enhance your speed and vitality. Seek the one you call Hermit Coco to exchange one for the other. Or make
Do you
an
see my
offense
stats?
to raise
Actually, I
your
might be
strength
covering it.
and
So he's got max
resilience.
ring energy, max speed, 62 level defense, and 63 level attack.
Use your companions to better navigate the island.
Oh, I'm covering the timer.
Enter the purple portals to find the keys and resources you need.
How long do you think I've been playing this game? 2 minutes?
All will aid you in your journey.
I kind of get the feeling I was supposed to be told these things on Kronos Island. You know, the first one.
Not like the
I'm on
last
Kronos
one.
Island right now. The last one.
Seriously,
in fact,
what the
aside
hell?
from my attack and defense, I've already done everything there is to do in this game.
Same.
I don't know why you're telling me all this now. You're a little late for that. So, this genuinely might be the hardest sin I've ever had to write for a game. Like, I sincerely wish I wasn't writing this right now. Because initially, I thought the end was really weird, kind of out of nowhere, with a boss fight that, while fun at its core, didn't match with the rest of
There
the
isn't a
game was
boss
going
fight
for.
for me.
In fact, I initially thought this was an intermission for something much greater to come. This is, without a doubt, one of the
I've never
worst
actually
final
played the
bosses in a
boss
Sonic
fight.
game,
I
and
just
that
skipped right
pains
past
me to
it.
say. Like, I actually think I died a little because of that.
I never fought
After
this.
a very fun experience with some of the best supersonic fights in the series, hell,
Because for some
of
reason,
the
whenever I
best
do it,
boss
it
fights in
just
the
jumps
series,
past it,
period.
and then it's quick time events.
I get the feeling that the end wasn't meant to play out this way, and there's a couple of reasons why I think that. Never mind the fact that it's a
Oh, so
property
the
covered on
end was
minigame.
the voice
cutscene
in the
before this
sky.
shows Sage taking full control of the Supreme Titan, which Supersonic knows is the case. But right before the battle, he speaks as if to the Ancients themselves, even though he saw Sage take control of the Titan. Furthermore, the tutorial pop-up tells us to, and I quote, work with the Titans to defeat the end.
Singular Titan,
Plural,
oops.
meaning they were probably all meant to come back for an epic showdown. Instead, not only are we not controlling Sonic in this boss fight, not only is Supersonic not doing a damn thing during this
I never
fight,
heard the end speak, because again, I didn't do the boss fight, so...
The Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter minigame, meaning we don't even
I didn't know the end
Titan's
was the
proper
moon.
abilities. Sonic's pre-fight dialogue is fantastic and inspiring. Too bad it makes no sense.
Yep.
The end's monologue during the fight is phenomenal. It's the most chilling set of lines a final boss has ever had in a Sonic game. Too bad the fight is the equivalent of a dinky Megazord shooting peas at the moon. And you can tell that what it's saying is directed at Sonic, whom we're not even controlling during the fight. But to me, the worst part of it all is that the end is the most try-hard failure of a villain we've had since Infinite. I knew, even before the game came out, that the voice guiding Sonic was going to be the surprise antagonist.
That's kind of a
and they set up this eldritch
cliche.
being, this creature that they were purposefully adumbrating for us because we shouldn't even fathom how titanically gargantuan this Lovecraftian
and then it's a moon.
who was hunting down the ancients from their own home was. And you know what? Maybe it's my fault. Perhaps I only have myself to blame for expecting a behemoth among the pantheon of gods the Golden Hedgehog has faced, such as a water god of destruction, the prototype of the ultimate life form, a mechanical usurper who modified his own body and infused the data he collected from his enemies with the power of chaos, a super-dimensional sun god whom presides over time, a primordial hyper-energy organism from the dawn of time incarnating darkness, a literal consumer of time and space capable of salvaging time discarded.
Sonic Frontiers has a lot of
gods.
gods.
A purple planetoid that shoots light and dark pellets at us with the occasional laser beam from time to time. And I
do like how we're the ones destroying the moon, though. Like, instead of the egg,
none of the
instead of
deities we
Eggman
fought
doing
as
it.
Supersonic were really all that sentient or spoke to us. The end is audibly highly intelligent, but its only purpose is to hunt down civilizations and destroy their planets.
And then it's just a moon!
And normally that's fine, but because they're beastly. We know they don't reason. I mean, even Perfect Chaos had a reason for what he was doing. It was to punish the ancient Echidna and protect the Chow.
Yeah.
The Bio-Lizard was programmed to destroy the planet. Even its motivation was grounded in someone else's pain.
Yeah.
This is just indiscriminate.
Solaris did it because he's a dick.
Indiscriminate. It's not really scary. It's not really impressive. Honestly, it's really just a letdown. And you only fight this thing on hard mode as if it's some sort of prize, which it's
No,
not.
I'm supposed to be on hard mode to fight. Maybe that's what, I guess that's what I'm doing wrong.
Guardians and Titans using a curated combat system. They try to utilize that.
Well, I guess I gotta do another
fullest
playthrough
here,
then.
It's just fucking Toho, dude. And you know how I was talking about how great the end's monologue is? Man, I wish I could hear it. Or at the least have it subtitled. And I get why it's not. It would be too distracting for a bullet hell segment, but goddamn.
I want to hear it over the bang, 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 bang.
Constant sound effects.
Yeah, see, when I was doing it, just skipped right to this. But again, I wasn't playing on hard mode, so I guess that's what I did wrong.
We see the end just floating in space, except we never get to see the giant hole Sonic made.
What if that was the continuity they kept?
Recognize me when we see each other again.
According, I've heard that in the DLC we might be getting.
I'm sorry.
In
Sticks?
A new. Yeah, no, that was my
Badgers?
reaction. Like, what the fuck?
A
Sticks?
character we've never met in this continuity. On account of you.
Apparently,
guys
we're gonna
not
get the
wearing
end
bandages, having
remade
necks,
in a
Sonic's arms not being
sense.
blue, and the fact that Knuckles doesn't look like Andre the Giant. Oh,
I don't know if
second
it's
set of
confirmed or
credits.
anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's going on for
Also,
longer.
does that mean the big is just?
Also, Vandalize
stuck
should have
in
been the
cyberspace
final
now?
boss theme.
We
Fight
never
me.
really got him out of there.
It's got an accent! Yes! Yes! Oh my god, all the sins are gone. No.
That's my girl.
Sage.
What does the zap mean?
Mm-mm.
You tease it from the beginning, and I feel like after everything, I still don't really understand what the symbol means. Is it the eggnet cloud? Were the ancient souls being uploaded to your network?
Yeah, they never tell us what the fuck the
didn't
up
burn them to
means.
peace? Well, that can't be, because the symbol can be found embedded in the ruins. So what is it then?
Maybe that was the logo they were
Ultimately,
questioning what the
greatest
fuck it was
mystery of
about.
them all was, what was he cooking? No, like seriously, where did Sonic get this Rathalos outfit and this meat? I know he hunts monsters, but he's not quite a
So the
monster
meat
hunter.
came.
Also,
So the
barbecue
Rathalos
spit
DLC is
minigame
where the barbecue
broken
stuff
because
came
unlike
from.
fishing, you don't need to pay any purple coins to do it, but like fishing, you get a bunch of tokens to trade for performing well. And granted, it's not like purple coins aren't plentiful through Starfalls, but assuming you didn't have any, you wouldn't need any.
121
Hey everyone, Charai5 here.
Oh god, he's a VTuber
Thanks so much for
now.
watching my CinemaSins past
Yeah,
week
there's just
of everything wrong with Sonic
There's just gonna be
Frontiers.
Patreon stuff
I'd like
very
to give a
soon,
shout out
so
to
it's
the
gonna stop
Patreon
it here.
member-
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers is a great game, and I'm glad I played it and all that jazz. It's not a perfect story by any means. I mean, if everyone's ever seen the Some Call Me Johnny review of it, it contradicts some lore, as we all know. Like, I don't know, Unleashed, the Chaos Emeralds were bound to these sacred places in order so that we could fix the world after Dark Gaia and Light Gaia, or after Dark Gaia destroyed it. Oops. They also come from space. It's not a perfect story, but hey, it's a Sonic story, and it's really freaking good, and honestly, just having a good story is enough, you know? Especially after freaking Forces and all that jazz, so yeah. I like Sonic Frontiers, it's a good game. Not my favorite, but, you know, it's still really dang good. I could probably be in the top 10 or something, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I don't have much else to say, so I gotta go fight the end, I guess. I'm gonna go on hard mode and figure out how the fuck to do that. Later.